Well, welcome back to our mental health discussions. We are really excited to be in the studio today. And I'm really very excited about this topic because I feel like not only on a level of therapist to speak to me, but like I'm in the throes of it right now. This is my life. Over 1 million parents right in this time frame are watching their kids go off to college and transitioning from being the parent that is the manager of everything to becoming a consultant to their, I like to call preemie adults.
Right. It's like your job description has changed. It's like you went to your desk one morning and there was a new job description on there.
And you would think, I mean, we've been preparing for that for 18 years,
Right.
but it just wasn't on the radar that it was actually going to happen until this moment when we pack up the car and we buy 1 million things to put in a dorm and off they go.
Right.
I can feel my own anxiety going up right now, Eric. That's what we're going to talk about today.
I can feel anxiety from 10 years ago.
Can you? I thought it was going to go away.
It's residual anxiety that I didn't know was there.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just stop for a second. These kids are going off. I mean, they're adults. These adults are going off. Our job is changing. Why is this so why does it cause so much emotional turmoil for us?
Well, I think as parents, we all want to be good parents, right?
Yes, of course.
And we tend to measure if we're good parents by how well behaved and whatever our kids are. And so so we've probably been doing that to one degree or another, even if cognitively we know, oh, maybe that's not such a great idea.
Yes.
To project that onto them. We're still doing it to some degree.
Yeah.
And a good question, incidentally, I think to ask would be of our kids, what was it like to have me as a parent? I mean, you have your own unique traits as a parent, plus you're the clinical director of Safe Harbor. You're a professional counselor. All that factors in.
Right.
Who you are outside of the home and who you are inside of the home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there's a lot of that going on where we make it about us instead of them to one degree or another.
Yeah.
And then it's a transition where we don't have control. So we still make it about us, but now we don't have the control that we had. It created a false sense of, well-being, when they're 10 and I can control things.
Right.
Now we still want that same result. My kid is good. They're adulting well. They're college studenting well. That's a word.
We have added a whole bunch of verbs here,
right.
Yeah.
But we don't have the control
No.
that we had when they were 10 or 13. I think that creates a lot of angst.
Yeah. Okay. I also feel like there's like this, the intersection of, I want to control it because that's what I've done since they were born. Right. And in some situations, they want me to control it because that's all they've known.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, some of them are saying, I got this. I got this, Mom. I'll do it. And some of them are saying, no, I was great with you having it.
Right.
And so, I mean, we know the listeners might not know this. I have 5 kids. So it gives you a really good array of every possible response.
Right.
So we have some who are like, see ya, I got it. Please, could you figure out what your new role is? And then we have others who say, no, I'm going to hold on to you. Could you please call financial aid and work that out for me? Right? So it gets confusing.
Yeah. I think one point is we've discussed this from a leadership standpoint, but from a parenting standpoint, it applies that leaders, parents love to solve problems for people.
Oh.
And what you're describing is sometimes our parenting style, it hasn't been exactly what it should have been all along. There was too much control, too much problems, like solving problems for them.
Yeah.
And now we get to this stage and we struggle. It's a dramatic shift to say, all right, they're in college. It's not my job to solve all their problems. Oh, which problems should I solve? Which one should I just bring attention to, but not give them solutions, but guide a conversation? All that we have to discern.
Might need therapy. I feel it. I feel it coming on. Yeah.
Right,
That's so,
right.
because what is the term? The lawnmower mom versus the helicopter mom, right? The lawnmower is the one that's going in front of them and solving all the problems,
Oh,
right?
right,
And the helicopter is the one that's like watching out over them, everything that they do. But yeah, I think I might be a pathological problem solver. Is that a thing?
It is now. Apparently it is.
It's a pathological problem solver. Yeah, yeah. So how do we move from pathological problem solving to being a consultant?
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes intentionality. It takes self-reflection. Unfortunately for you, Jen, it takes self-reflection.
Great. Yeah, it does.
And I'm sure you're in a practice of doing that, knowing who you are and what you do. But many people, self-reflection, the opposite of that is what? Projection.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to project what we're feeling. Now I'm feeling anxious or I'm feeling ineffective as a parent, and project that onto our kids in the form of control and expectations that they never fail.
Right.
And they're going to fail, aren't they, Jen?
They are. And, that's part of growth is learning to fail well.
Yep. So which failures do you think are ones that we should have on our radar screen? Help us understand.
Yeah.
Do we just say, oh, they're going to fail and not worry about it? Or do we keep our eye on the horizon of what failures could be catastrophic?
Right.
Like, help us understand how we do all that.
Well, okay, so you might get an answer today, and fast forward 4 years from now when they all graduate, it might look different. Okay,
we'll do this podcast again.
Okay, we'll redo it in 4 years with new experiential knowledge. But I think for me right now, the phrase that comes to mind that I'm holding to is I want to be a soft landing pad.
I love that.
You go make any mistakes you need to. And I do hope that you're not making ones that in my mind might be catastrophic. But even so, if they are, this is a soft landing pad. You can always come back, hopefully not to live permanently, but you can always come back, and I'm here to help you work through it.
So soft landing pad, let's break that down for a second.
Yeah.
What is the opposite of a soft landing pad?
Do it my way because I'm your parent.
Right. And no room for mistakes.
Yeah. No room for mistakes. And you didn't do it the way that I wanted. So now you get the consequences. Have fun with that.
So how do we actually become a soft landing pad? If somebody's watching this and they're like, you know what? That sounds great. I really want to be a soft landing pad, but I'm not one.
Right.
But I want to be one. What advice would you give?
Yeah. I would embrace being a consultant. Like, okay, well, you've got the choices to do whatever it is that you think reasonably would be like what you want to do. And if it doesn't work out, you don't need to be ashamed to come back.
Right.
We can embrace the fact that you made a bad choice. No, I mean, newsflash, I might have made a few myself, right? Like
I made one once.
Maybe once. So we can learn from it, and you don't have to be ashamed to, I want my kids to be the one that they come back and say, Mom, I really messed this up. Can you help me now? Because I made a choice. I've got the consequence for it, but help me navigate to what the next right move might be. Because now I'm a consultant.
Right. I like what you're talking about. You're talking about giving a context and a framework for failure.
Yeah.
Like teaching them about failure, maybe even sharing a couple of our own, and, helping them understand some failure is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm totally honest, and I didn't realize this until 10 years ago, I failed out of college sophomore year.
Mm.
You
Okay.
know, it was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it worked out. Like, I look back, I'm like, how did my parents deal with that?
How
Like,
did they? Did they say anything? Like, how did they respond?
they were cool about it, but it was expected. The letter I got, when you go to a state school, it doesn't say you failed out.
Mm-hmm.
The letter says your GPA dropped below a 2.0, your status has changed from full-time degreed student to continuing education student, and you
Okay.
can register for classes on this day, not this day, and you get whatever's available, like basically the leftovers. And
Mm.
so my parents were just like, okay, so don't miss this day. They just kept it practical. Okay, so you know what you need to do. You need to register on they figured if I stayed in the game,
Yeah.
and then my GPA, all those credits would count if my
Right.
GPA got back over 2.0, which it did get back over. And they just figured, all right, the goal is keep him in the game
Yeah.
and help him learn, from the mistakes. And sometimes life is the teacher. For me, in that situation, the way life was the teacher was what I predominantly was left with were evening classes. And I'm 19 years old, wanting to be around people my age.
Right.
And who takes evening classes? Dorky 40-year-olds that are in work clothes
Yeah.
that I just thought were the biggest dorks in the world
Sure.
at that time of my life. And that's who and I'm there till 10 o'clock at night,
Yeah.
whatever. But that wasn't so terrible. That the time when you're young, you can stay up late. That wasn't
Right.
a big deal. But being away from my peers, no girls my age in there, prospects, no guys to like hang out with, having nothing in common.
Yeah.
And life was the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I got it together. But I think that's an example of how, like, sometimes our kids have to figure it out. Like, even failing out of college, like, there's always a second chance.
Yeah.
You can go to community college and
Sure.
reapply to other schools, or you can be a continuing ed student if it's a state school. There's always another option.
Yeah. It reminds me of something that my husband says all the time. He always says, "What's the next right move?
Right.
What's the next right step?" That's it. Like, let's focus on that. And then every next step will get us to where we're going.
Right.
But it's just the one, focus on the one.
Right. And that's
Next
what my
step.
parents did.
Yes.
In that.
Yeah.
And I think also like keeping the long game in mind, which is hard when you're a parent and you want your child, you think if they fail now, this is going to, we catastrophize it in our minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
They fail at this, then, Eric failed out of college. Now he's going to, this is going to happen and this, and then he's going to be homeless and he's going to be addicted to drugs and he's going to die in 5 years.
Yeah.
We can catastrophize it, which my parents didn't do.
Right.
So, for example, with my own son, he goes away freshman year to college to a small Christian college on a cycling scholarship. And in high school, he wasn't the most social kid. And that like kind of concerned me a little bit. Like I wanted to see him develop socially. Now he has amazing communication skills, the best friends in the world. He knows how to problem solve interpersonally. He's fantastic at that. But at that time, I was a little worried. So I get a call from the cycling coach, like midway through that semester.
Mm-hmm.
And the coach says, "Yeah, Eric, I wanted to tell you some of the kids on the cycling team," and this is a small Christian college with rules.
Yeah.
And drinking was one of those
Oh
rules.
boy. Yeah.
And so you see where this is going.
Yes.
Hey, he breaks me in easy. There was a bunch of kids on the cycling team that did a bonfire on the mountain and they were drinking. And your son was one of them.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is not what I wanted to hear.
No.
But I had to zoom out, pull inside myself, have a little self-awareness
Mm-hmm.
and take inventory. And I'm like, okay, there's two ways I can look. I can look at this as a failure, or where I landed was I was like, all right, I hope he doesn't get kicked out of the school, whatever. But this is great. He's socializing with his teammates.
Yeah.
I hope he didn't overdrink, like go to extremes, but I landed on, wow, he is developing friendships and he's one of the guys. And to this day, like he has great friends. That was the beginning of him
Yeah.
developing. And I could have viewed that as a failure.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't as the parent.
Yes. You had one of those self-aware moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So sometimes it's more about what's happening inside of us and what we think we need than it is about serving our adult child well.
Yes. Okay. So here we have these kids going off to school, and we are working on our own self-awareness. Let's talk a little bit about the transition of the role for us.
Right.
Not just in relationship to the kids. I like to call them preemie adults because that's really, they're not kids anymore, but that's what they're heading towards.
They're young adults.
They're young adults. Me. Young adults. But okay, so they're moving in that way. They're moving on their journey. And then here we are, having invested the last 18 years in making sure that they're eating and well balanced and involved and socializing and developing into these wonderful people.
Right.
Now we don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
And I'll even go so far as to say that for some of us, we might have neglected our own self-awareness and development because we were so focused on those.
Right.
Kids.
Think about it on the side of athletic fields. Not that I was ever this parent, where you look at the game going on, the basketball game, the soccer game, the lacrosse game, the football game.
Yeah.
And how many parents, their sense of identity is, my kid is a great whatever player.
Oh, yeah.
And
Right.
so then, we don't fix that. That plays out. We're getting our identity through our kids. We're going to, in this stage, when they're in college, project control onto them. But also internally, we're going to have some emotional angst over that. Because now there's a void, which I think is what you're getting at.
Yes.
So fill in that void. What do we do if we're the person? We're like, okay, now my purpose is gone. I feel empty. This is what gave me purpose. And moms struggle with that tremendously.
Right. Now, who am I?
Yes.
Now, what am I going to do?
For all the dads and moms, but from a mom's perspective, what you say applies to everybody.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give?
Well, first off, I'm going to clean my house like it's never been cleaned before. I just want to put that out there.
Right,
Okay.
right.
And it's going to look exactly the way that I left it.
Which is something you couldn't do for 18 years.
For 18 years. It only lasted 5 minutes after.
So you find a silver lining.
Right. Yeah.
Like, hey, this has an upside.
Yeah, I'm going to, and
That's
I'm
great.
going to claim control over the things that I haven't had control over for a while.
Right.
And I think you made a great point. It's about finding my new meaning and purpose.
Yeah.
What does that look like? I mean, for me, I have work, right? So that I find a lot of meaning and purpose in that.
Right.
But what does that look like? For some of the folks who are listening right now, that might mean volunteering.
Right.
It might increase your social networks to be something that you're finding meaning purpose in volunteering or getting into another network or things like that of people.
Right.
So those are some good things to try.
I think those are very practical.
Yeah.
I think people hearing that can get their hands around that. I can
Yes.
get my hands around that. Those
Yeah.
are very practical.
Yeah.
Since we're counselors, I'll go
Deeper. Here we go. Yep.
Not to diminish the practical. That's
No.
probably more important because it's easy to to identify and understand and do. But I think um, understanding what who we are, meaning and purpose
Mhm.
comes from who we are,
Yeah.
and the character we have, the
Mhm.
traits. Are we somebody who is patient? Are we somebody who is organized, structured? Are we somebody with a sense of humor? These are all character
Yes.
traits. Are we somebody who sees the best in others and can bring that out?
Mhm.
Whatever traits, and it's going to be different for every person. As a parent, as a mom or dad, what traits did I bring to the table that my child benefited from? And then
Mhm.
be able to say, you know what? It might not be playing out in the same way with my child as it did 5 years ago, but I still that person. Whatever
Mhm.
traits you come up with. Okay, and then
I love that.
how can I bring that to the world? Maybe it's to my spouse, significant other. Maybe
Mhm.
it's just to friends. Maybe it's to strangers. Just
Mhm.
how can I bring that to the world? Because I'm that same person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a purposeful way to live.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a self-aware way to live.
Yeah, it really is. And I think also for me, it reminds me that my growth is not, even as a parent, is not stopping because that part of my role is changing.
Right.
They're growing into a college student. I'm growing into a person who wants to go deeper with some of the qualities that you're talking about.
Right.
So we're all on a growth path,
Yes.
whether or not we realize it or not.
Right. All right. So Dr. Practical, help us.
Dr. Practical.
The doctor of practicality.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's this thing called skills.
Yeah.
What skills do you think are necessary in the new job description?
Yeah.
When the child is now a young adult in college, what skills does that take to do that phase well?
You know, the thing that immediately comes to mind is the idea of I used to tell my kids what the right next step is,
Uh,
but now I'm going to ask them questions to help them figure out. Now, even as I utter these words, Eric, I think to myself, I probably should have been doing that when they were 10, but okay.
right, right, exactly.
But it's a new way. It's a new way for me to be inquiring about how they're thinking about how they're coming up with the answer,
Right.
as opposed to me saying, well, here's what I think is the answer.
Mm.
So that's a huge shift for me.
Asking questions,
Yeah.
being curious, leaving it in their court, not solving every problem. And what does that do to that college student when we parent that way? What is the message they absorb? And how does that help them in
They're
life?
competent.
Yes.
I trust you to make the decision.
Right.
I don't have to love the decision myself personally, but I
Right.
trust you to make it.
Right.
And I think you're competent to make it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, think of what happens in a person's life when there's a parent or anybody who believes in them
Yeah.
at pivotal points.
Oh,
We,
yeah.
I love what you're saying because we get to be that person in our kids' lives when they're making that transition. We get to be that person that believes in them.
Mm-hmm.
And the impact of that is enormous. Think of the alternative. If they
Right.
don't take that autonomy and take that autonomy, make a few mistakes. Okay, well, the alternative is not a pretty picture.
Oh,
They have no self confidence. They're dependent on us
yeah.
and they don't go anywhere in life.
Yeah. And it's beautiful to watch them. I love the transition from watching the way they think.
Right.
I've had numerous times with my one daughter where I just step back and I'm like, I love the way that you're processing through this. Love the way you're thinking.
Right.
Like, is the
Right.
outcome exactly what I would do? No, I don't, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's your journey. But I love how you're processing through. You're thinking about my emotion right now won't be my emotion later.
Right.
I'm tired right now, so I'm thinking about it this way, but I know once I get a good night's sleep, I'll think about it this way. And I'm like, wow, what insight you have.
So
It's
hold
great.
on. So Jen, You're saying that, let's say I had a 20-year-old kid who's a college student, and they're deciding what they think about life,
Yeah.
about politics, faith, whatever. They're deciding what they think.
Mm-hmm.
You, I just want to make sure I'm hearing you
Oh, no.
correctly.
Yeah.
You're saying it's okay. I can still affirm them even if I don't agree with them.
Oh man, like we're about to solve world peace.
Yes,
Eric.
we are. You read my mind. I'm like, I see where this is going.
I can appreciate you and honor you even if I don't agree with you.
Such a skill. That's
Like
a
it is
skill.
a skill.
That's a skill. Like so many of us
Yeah.
are so opinionated that we can't sit in a conversation with anybody and be curious. Rather, we want to share, we're eager to share our opinion. Well, that's not right. Well, how it is blah, 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 rather than being interested and curious.
Yeah.
We just don't have that skill across the board.
Right.
And then what's going to happen when our child is a college student? That's exacerbated if it already exists within us because there's more at stake. We care more about how our college student turns out as a human being than the person on the side of the lacrosse field who we disagree about some strategy about the lacrosse game. There's way more at stake.
Right. Okay. So if I could put that in like one practical slogan, I would, and maybe this is slightly off, but what do you think about this one? Drop the power struggle.
Yes. Yes. Stop trying to control.
I don't need to have a power struggle.
Right.
I can appreciate how you're thinking and the conclusions you're coming to, and I can love you and I can be a soft landing pad, and I don't need to be in a power struggle.
Right.
Now, with my 6-year-old or with my 9-year-old, if he's not going to eat dinner, like I might need to be in a power struggle at some
Right.
points. Like I'm the parent, I got it. This has to happen.
He needs to learn to respect authority.
He needs
and that's going to
that.
bite him later if
Right.
he doesn't learn that skill.
Right. So there's a time for that.
Right.
But this stage where they're going off and they're learning and they're able to make mistakes, they're able to think things through on their own, they're able to make their own choices, I can step back.
Right. I'm going to paraphrase what you said like 4 or 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Because I just thought it was so brilliant that in essence, we could say to our child, our young adult child, I may not necessarily agree with everything you're laying out, but that's not the point. The point is, I really see maturity in your process.
Yes. Yeah.
I see you wrestling with these issues. I see your thought process. And I just want you to know I'm really proud of how much maturity that shows on your part.
Yeah.
And this is a safe place. We don't have to think the same thing about everything.
Yeah.
That's my paraphrase of what I hear you saying. And I just think that is so practical. If people took nothing else away from this podcast,
yeah,
I think that's a golden nugget.
Yeah. I think that
I'm going to go home and use that on Brock, my dog.
We'll see if it crosses over.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. There's one other thing before we wrap up that since you already said that I'm practical.
Yeah, I did.
You did. So I'm
I
going to
hope
put it out there.
Too soon.
Yeah, you're right. One more thing is I remember when my twins were going off to college. It was last year.
Uh-huh.
And I read this article and I thought, this is so brilliant. It was, you always think that when you move them into their dorm, you're going to have this moment, like one last dinner. Right after you've moved them in, and like you're gonna have this like moment where you're gonna be able to be like, this is all that I've summarized the last 18 years of my parenting, and good luck. Here it is. Like, here's my wisdom. You're gonna have this beautiful moment. And let me just say this: I guarantee you won't have that moment.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
they're not thinking.
They're not. They're like trying to figure out where to put their shower gel. Okay.
Right.
Like they're trying to figure all those things that they don't care. And it's not that they don't care. They're just busy in doing exactly what they should be doing.
Exactly.
So you're not going to have that
They're being
moment.
practical.
They are. They are. And you're not going to have that moment. And this article suggested that you write them a letter.
Oh.
So that you could write down anything like that. Like, Here's what I want in that moment when you're feeling homesick, for you to remember how strong you are.
Right.
Here's in that moment that you're like, why am I here? I don't want to do this anymore. But remember how brilliant you are, or,
Right.
whatever it is that you want to say. And you write that in a letter, and then you put it somewhere where they're going to notice it later.
Boy, I love that.
And that's what I did. And let me tell you something. I laid it all out. They're probably like, okay, she wrote me a book, but it's okay. But
Yeah.
I put it under their pillow, and then I left without having to worry about anything unsaid.
Right.
And then I went home and thought, you know what? When they go to get in bed tonight and they're like, this mattress is horrible. It's hot in here, and they're going to put their hand under that pillow and they're going to be like, wait, there's a letter from my mom.
Oh,
And in the quiet moment,
yes.
be able to read that. So I just want to give that as the practical thing.
I mean, what I love about that is it's more focused on giving something to our child than getting something for us.
Yeah.
I need this final conversation where I feel like I'm the best parent ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing how people thrive when we lay that aside.
Yeah.
When we're able to make it actually about them.
Mm-hmm. I'm not demanding anything from you.
Yep.
I just want to let you know what I see, the growth in you.
Yes. Being present and loving with no agenda.
Yes.
Present with no agenda. That's what you're talking about.
Eric, I feel as if this episode really could be a whole new generation of bumper stickers. All right,
I don't want to hear this.
Okay. Present with no agenda.
Yes.
Be a soft landing pad.
All right.
Move from manager to consultant.
Right. Those are the bullet points.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Learn the art of asking open-ended questions.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it. I hope that this is really helpful to people as they're sort of in this position with their preemie adults who are moving on on their journey, and help you just understand how to self-reflect, get some bumper stickers.
That's a good note to end on. Get some bumper stickers.
Get some bumper stickers. Here they are. All right.
Well, yeah, I hope this has added value to our people listening out there. Thank you for spending this time with us.